All right, guys, you asked for it, so I'm going to send it to you. I've been asking about what is the housing affordability in Maine. The February numbers just came out this past weekend. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to break down housing prices in 7 different areas of Maine to give you an idea of how much you need to make to live in these areas and what it's like to live here. So if you're looking to relocate, or if you're looking to sell, or if you're looking at you're here and you want to move from one community to another, this information could be of help to you. And also, it is the February numbers that just came out, so I try to stay on top of that for all my subscribers that are on this channel. So guys, sit back, relax. Hope you enjoy this information. Grab a pen and paper. We'll get after it right now. All right, guys, welcome to the channel. My name is Scott Tebow. I'm a broker realtor with eXp Realty. I live here in Southern Maine, but more importantly than that, I'm a father of 5, a husband. I'm a veteran. I'm a grandfather. Going to be 3 times over here pretty soon. Get 2 already and 1 on the way. And I love living in Maine. I didn't think I would when I was a kid. Caveat here, I wanted nothing to do with the state of Maine when I was in high school, so much so that I joined the military to see the world, and I left right out of high school in 1986, and I didn't come back for quite a few years as I was in the military and seeing the world. And then I stayed away for a little bit and lived in other parts of this country, but found my way back to Maine. And I honestly consider myself very blessed and fortunate to be able to live in Maine now, and to make a pretty good living here. So I just tell you that because until you live here, until you've experienced everything there is to experience in Maine, you can't really understand if you're from away. Maine is one of the top safest states in the country, and the quality of life is unsurpassed, in my opinion, by any other place in the country. So the whole purpose of this channel, guys, is to just be another piece for education, for information for you, in case you're thinking about living here, in case you're thinking about moving here or relocating here, in case you're being relocated here because of your job, or in case you're looking to sell and downsize, or maybe become one of those snowbirds and live somewhere else in the wintertime and stay here in the summertime. That's what this channel is about. We get calls, texts, emails all the time, guys, asking us what it's like to live here, how can we help, asking us to find houses, asking us to sell their houses. We love it. So if you're looking to move in, I don't know, 6 days, 6 weeks, 6 months, 6 years, sometime in the near future, drop us a line, drop a comment, send some questions, and we'll be happy to help you make that smooth move here to Maine. We've helped a lot of people. We do this all the time, guys. So hopefully this information is helpful for you. So let's get into it. The first region I was talking about was Biddeford and Saco. I picked that region because I'm a little biased. I was born in Saco, raised in Saco, and now I live in Biddeford, which I never thought I would, because we were a Battle of the Bridge. It's called Battle of the Bridge arch rival, especially in football. I was born and bred to hate Biddeford, being from Saco, even though Saco and Biddeford are what we call twin cities, brother or sisterly cities. I was born and bred to hate Biddeford, and now I live in Biddeford. So it's kind of a small world. Everything comes around, deja vu, right? But why people live in Biddeford and Saco, there's a bunch of reasons. Thornton Academy, the largest high school in Maine, very prestigious school. It's one of, I think, 11 or 13 academies, has a decent size international student enrollment. It's perennial state champions in a lot of sports, specifically football. It's a campus type environment, which means you go from one building to another, and sometimes you're outdoors, transferring from one building to another, kind of like a college campus environment, where most schools in Maine aren't like that. You stay one school the whole time, but Thornton Academy, I think, was established in like 1811 or something like that. So, and it just added schools and schools. This is a big reason why people move to Saco specifically, especially if they have kids entering the school system or definitely entering the high school system. Thornton Academy is a very desirable school. The other reason people live here, beaches. Um, Beautiful, flat, sandy beaches. People love coming to Maine and hanging out on the beaches in the summertime. The fishing. We have a river that goes right down between the two of us, between Biddeford and Saco, called the Saco River. It was named by the Abenaki Indians. Some of the best striper fishing you're gonna find in the state of Maine is on that river, and it dumps right. It starts way up in the White Mountains, but it dumps right out here in the mouth of the Saco. Dumps right out here in the Atlantic at Camp Ellis, and there's some fantastic fishing. Obviously, you can take a boat out of the river where there's a couple marinas and places to dock. And sorry, I got a scratch right there. And you can get out on the Atlantic Ocean and go do some deep sea fishing. Beaches, school to the west, you got trails and farmlands. You got a lot of activities down here, a lot of things to do. Your proximity to Portsmouth, which is another kind of coastal kind of happening spot, but that's in New Hampshire. And then your proximity to Boston. It takes me about 2 hours to get to Boston if I drive. Otherwise, I take the Downeaster, which is a train that heads back and forth multiple times a day from Maine to Boston. And I take that if I'm going down there for the weekend with my wife, or I'm looking to go to a sporting event, the Celtics, Bruins, Red Sox, something like that. Patriots, you can't take the Downeaster. You could, but then you got to go even further because it's more the down east. I mean, Gillette Stadium is a lot further south than Boston is. So anyways, the Downeaster, a lot of people work in Boston and live up in Saco and Biddeford, and they take that Downeaster back and forth. So let's talk about the housing market in Saco and Biddeford. And guys, these are February's numbers. So if you're looking at Biddeford and Saco, the population of the two cities combined based upon the 2020, I think it was 3 census, was $43,322. I'm sorry. I've got money in my head, right? 43,322 people. And the median home price was $490,000. Now, what I'm going to talk to you about the median home price in Saco Biddeford, it's kind of unique. It depends where you live in Saco and Biddeford. Median means half the prices are higher and half the prices are lower. But I'll also tell you this, if you look to buy a place west of Interstate 95, then you're going to pay about $50,000 to $60,000 less than if you're looking to buy a place east of Interstate 95. Interstate 95 sits about 3 to 4 miles, maybe 2 in some spots, off the coast of Maine. So obviously, if you're on the east side of 95, you're closer to the ocean. I find it kind of ironic that, and when this country was founded, everybody wanted to move away from the ocean to prevent the storms and prevent their homes from being destroyed and all that. And now everybody wants to move to the ocean or closer to the ocean, and housing prices are a lot more expensive. Obviously, the closer you get to the ocean, then the further away you are, which is why there's about a $50,000 to $60,000 difference on an average house. If you take an average house and put it like, a mile from the beach in Saco or Biddeford versus 5 miles or 7 miles from the beach on the west side of the interstate, you're going to pay less for that house. But on average, in February, the median home price was $490,000. Now, what I did, guys, is I said, hey, you're going to put 10% down, and we're going to use an average interest rate of 7%. Interest rates have come down a little bit, but we're just going to kind of level set this. We're just going to say that 10% down, 7% interest rate. Your principal and interest is going to be $2,933.98, and your monthly taxes. Now, the way taxes are calculated, it's called a mill rate. What is a mill rate, in case you don't know? So I don't know where the name mill came from, but I think it had something to do with the mills. I'm not sure, but the mill rate is what you pay per 1,000 on your assessed value with the city or municipality or the town considers your home to be assessed at. I can tell you in the Biddeford and Saco area, their assessed values are about 80 to 83% of the value of the appraised value of homes, what you can sell them for. So the assessed value is about 83%. So as an example, The mill rate, I think, in Biddeford is like 13 something, and the mill rate in Saco is about 14 something. So if you kind of blend those together, the mill rate on a $490,000 purchase, yet only 83% of its really assessed rate would be $481.83. If you want to know more about that, I can dig in a little deeper for guys for you to understand taxes and assessed rates and mill rates. Just drop me a line or put a comment down below in the section. But monthly taxes on average $481.83, which means from a net perspective, in other words, 30% of your net income, your take-home pay, if you were to allocate it directly to your housing for principal and interest and taxes, you would need to make $11,386. Now, I also say that some people say you shouldn't do more than 40%. So I'm kind of being conservative, because if it's 40%, then your net income is going to be less that you need to make in order to afford a house in Biddeford and Saco based on February's numbers. But we're going to use 30% net income take-home pay. You need to make $11,386 as a family, as a household, your household income. And currently there are 43 homes for sale in the Biddeford and Saco area. In order for you to live here annually, you need a household income annually of $136,633, which is just $11,386 times 12 months. Just to give you an idea of home prices in southern Maine. Now, looking at the screen real quick, current homes for sale is only 43. The inventory is coming up. Here's the thing about Maine. From about middle of January to the middle of March, things are really slow. It's generally the coldest time of the year and the whitest time of the year. Albeit, if you look out my front door right now, there's hardly any snow here, and it's going to be like 55 degrees. So maybe it's climate change. Maybe it's a cycle that the country, that the planet is going through. I don't know. I really haven't dug into that much. But whatever it is, it's definitely a milder winter. And we've had more milder winters over the last few years than I can ever remember in my life. But what I'm trying to say is, kind of after March 15th, you're going to see more and more and more inventory and more stuff moving. And you probably might see the prices go up a little bit as well, as Maine is a desirable area. Maine is in the top 10, believe it or not, of places to move to. There's multiple studies on this now. And it's probably because we're one of the safest states, and our quality of life you just can't beat. So that's Biddeford and Saco. If you're looking to move here, obviously not every house is $490,000. There are some that are more. There's some that are less. We really got to dig into the market. If you're looking to make a move here or interested in the area, let us know, and we can dig in the market and give you more personalized information per your needs. All right, guys, we're going to head up the coast about 12 miles into the greater Portland area. So what's the greater Portland area? Greater Portland area, some people say it's like Scarborough, Portland, Westbrook, South Portland, Falmouth. I mean, it goes right up the coast, almost all the way up to Brunswick. I don't consider that the greater Portland area. I consider the greater Portland area kind of Portland, South Portland, and Westbrook. Westbrook sits just west of Portland, and then South Portland sits just southeast of Portland on the other side of the Casco Bay. So if you combine those three communities together, those three municipalities together, you have a population of 115,296. The median home price in February was $467,250, and again, 7% interest rate, 10% down. Your principal and interest would be $2,797.76. Taxes are higher in Portland based upon density. Obviously, more people serve in a smaller footprint. Their tax bases are high. I think Portland's is like $20, $21 per thousand. I'd have to look at that, but I know they're higher. And then, so if you look at the monthly taxes, is $726.50, means that your take-home pay at 30%, if you allocate 30% of your take-home pay towards living, housing expenses of principal and interest and taxes, you would need to bring home $11,747 a month. There are currently 87 homes for sale in the in the Westbrook, Portland, and South Portland areas, and your average income on a per annual basis to live in that area would be $140,970. That's family income again, guys. So just kind of some numbers for the greater Portland area. And these are based upon the February numbers, which just came out this past weekend. All right, guys. Now I'm going to head a little northwest, and we're going to look at Gorham and Windham. Now, Gorham borders Portland, but it's kind of out of that greater Portland realm, in my opinion. It's still pretty easy to get there, but I don't consider it greater Portland. And then you go to Windham, which is a little north or northwest of Gorham, where you got Sebago Lake. Those two areas are growing pretty good. There's a lot of development happening in those two areas, especially Gorham and Windham, especially Windham. And it was all established because of Sebago Lake, which is Maine's second largest lake in the state. Windham, a lot of people moving there. The only thing I don't like about Windham is in the summertime, if you're right on the main drag there, which is called 302, you're going to have a lot of traffic because there are a lot of people going back and forth to the multitude of lakes, and it's a boating frenzy up there in Windham. But that being said, you can definitely bypass some of that if you know how to get around, which I do, obviously. And if you live up there, you will eventually. But the population of those two municipalities together is 36,211 people. The median home price, $447,000. Principal and interest, 7% at 10% down, $2,676.51. Taxes a little less than Southern Maine that I just did, Greater Portland, and even Biddeford, Saco. Monthly taxes are $410.21, which means your net income, you bring home your take-home pay, your family take-home pay to buy a house in the Gorham, Windham area at 10% down, 7% interest rate would be $10,289. There are currently 46 homes available on the market in Gorham and Windham, and you would need to make as a household income $123,468 to live in the Gorham, Windham area. Again, guys, that's based on 30% of your take-home income. Some people make it 38, some people make it 40. Depends on what your other bills are. And then again, that's based upon the median price of 10% down. You put down more, you're going to pay less. You're going to need to make less. If you put down less, you may need to make more. If you buy a house that's less than $447, I mean, there's so many variables. I think you guys get the note. So what I'm trying to say here, but I'm just giving you an idea what the median home price is in these areas. All right, next we're going to head up the coast. Not up the coast. We're going to head, so if I'm sitting in Windham, I'm going to head north and probably a little east up until Lewiston, Auburn. Lewiston, Auburn is Maine's second largest kind of area behind the greater Portland area. And in Lewiston, Auburn, again, a kind of another mill town that has really, as the mills have gone away, they've been redeveloped into housing and stuff. But Lewiston, Auburn, population 61,350 people. The median home price, $286,000. You can see quite a drop. Lewiston, Auburn compared to Gorham, Windham, Greater Portland, and Saco and Biddeford, because you're getting away from the coast, actually. $286,000 is the median price for a single-family home in the Lewiston, Auburn market. 10% down, 7% interest, principal and interest be $1,712. Taxes $525.56. Your monthly income required take-home net income to live in the Lewiston, Auburn area, if you were to use 30% of your income towards housing, would be $7,458. And there are currently 87 single-family homes available in the Lewiston and Auburn market. So boiling all those numbers down, you need to make about $89,502 as a household income to afford to buy a home in the Lewiston and Auburn market based upon the February numbers. All right, guys, now we're going to kind of drive. If you get in the car and you leave Lewiston, Auburn, you're going to drive a little bit further north, but a little bit further east, and you're going to hit the Augusta and the Waterville markets. Now, Augusta is the state capital. I call Augusta Central Maine, Waterville Central Maine. There's a bunch of towns in there that are kind of Central Maine, Richmond, Topsom. There's just a bunch of towns in there that are Central Maine. And the really cool thing about Central Maine is if you're like me and you like the outdoors, there's so many lakes and ponds and streams and rivers to explore, to fish in, to camp on, to boat on, to go ice fishing in, to go tubing in or water skiing. And even if you are fortunate enough to have a cabin or a lakefront property, which is very, very hard to find these days anywhere, unless you get way up further north, because it's such a desirable place to be in the summertime. The weather's just fantastic. But Augusta is made up of the state capital, so you have a lot of state employees that live in Augusta. And then Waterville's got a few industries up there. I don't really know how Waterville came to be, but it's a decent-sized community as well, decent-sized municipality. If you take the two, combine them together, the population would be 34,914. And again, guys, as you get away from the coast, Central Maine, median home price, $237,500. Again, 10% down, 7% interest rate. Your principal and interest would be $1,422.08. Your monthly taxes would be $360, $353. Again, taxes aren't as high. Your family income on a monthly basis using 30% dedicated to its housing would be $5,952. There are approximately 48 homes for sale, single-family homes for sale in the Augusta, Waterville area as of February, and you would need to make as a family household income around $71,424 based upon the median home price. Now, again, guys, I'm going to say this with a caveat. Median home price means some houses are more, 50% of the houses are more, 50% of the houses are less. So these are February's numbers. January, February, March, and the numbers are going to be held down a little bit because you don't have as much activity this based upon the weather. But after March 15th, I bet we'll see these numbers go up across the state. All right, from Augusta, Waterville, if you would kind of head back south, but you're going to head more east down to what we call the mid-coast, or what I call the start of the mid-coast, which is Saginaw County. You got Saginaw, you got Knox, you got Waldo, you got Lincoln as you come up right around to get into Bar Harbor and Mount Desert Island. Then you got Hancock and Washington. But I just picked the two kind of largest areas in down east, in the mid-coast, which is the start of the mid-coast, which is Bath and Brunswick. You see a population of 30,479. That really is made up more of Brunswick than Bath. I think Bath only has like 8,800 people, and Brunswick has the difference. Bath's on there because it's a big shipbuilding place. There's a lot of Navy ships that are built right in Bath Ironworks. And then you got Brunswick, which used to be a military base, Air Force military base, got downsized and then not abandoned, but it was repurposed. And now you got commercial businesses in there. And Brunswick's a pretty desirable place to live. The downtown's amazing, actually. But, excuse me, the median home price in the Bath and Brunswick area is $459,000. 10% down, 7% interest. Your principal and interest are going to be $2,748.36. Your monthly taxes are a little higher in the Bath, Brunswick area, $712.29. So in order to afford a house in Bath and Brunswick based upon the median home price, based upon 7% interest and 10% down, and cover your taxes, your take-home pay would need to be around $11,535 for a home for a family, your housing for everybody that would be residing in the house. And there are only approximately 36 homes right now for sale in the Bath and Brunswick market. If you take the $11,535 a month and you just extrapolate that, multiply that by 12, that's how you get to $138,425, which would be needed to be the household income to live in Bath and Brunswick, based upon the February numbers of 2024. And then finally, guys, I picked Bangor and Brewer. I picked Bangor and Brewer for a couple reasons. Bangor is a decent-sized city. You also have the University of Maine, just north of Bangor at Orono. So if you have some kids that are looking to go to college and you want to go to University of Maine, or if you're looking to go back to college at the University of Maine, well, then Bangor, Brewer, Orono is kind of the spot you want to be. It's a decent sized area. Actually, all the concerts now, they used to be in Portland, but now they're all up in Bangor at the outdoor pavilion. And so if you want to see anything, any headliner that's worth seeing, that's where they go, is Bangor, which is surprising to me, but I get it. It's a beautiful area. Bangor Brewer population 41,086. That's mostly more Bangor than Brewer and Orono. Median home price in the Bangor Brewer area is $264,450 as of February. 7% interest, 10% down, $1,583.42 principal and interest. Monthly taxes, $355.10. Take home monthly pay, which means your net would be $6,461. There are about 57 homes for sale in the area, and the average household income annually would be $77,540. Now, guys, that's 7 regions throughout the state. If you want to know about another area, just drop me a comment, send me a text, or send me an email, and I will send you some private information on a different area based upon the numbers that I have. I will tell you that housing, probably like across the whole country, is trending up. It really jumped up pretty high. 2021 was just a fiasco, and then it started simmering down, kind of. I wouldn't even say simmering down. It started not simmering, but it started, I don't know what the right word is. It was still pretty high, but it really didn't start slowing down until late 2022. And then 2023, things started kind of getting adjusted to the new rates, and then you didn't see them just going through the roof like they were in 2020, late 2020, 2021, and 2022. So, but Maine is still very desirable. Top 10 cheapest, most affordable place to live in New England. It's not the cheapest place to live by any stretch of imagination, right? Maine ranks, as I've said in other videos, we're like 26th or 27th as in terms of affordability in the country, right? That means there's 26 or 27 states that are more affordable than Maine. What Maine brings to the equation, which you just can't duplicate, is the safety and the quality of life, not to mention the breathtaking views, the scenery, the peace of mind that you have, that I don't lock my doors. I shouldn't say that because I might get broken in since I'm making this public comments, but most people don't lock their doors. You don't have to worry about a lot of craziness. And the state's kind of really diverse in terms of what it thinks. I'm not trying to get political, but if you look at the state on a whole, you got kind of Cumberland, New York counties are definitely leans more Democratic. And then you get up past Augusta and it is a different world. It is all very red Republican, salt of the earth people in both places, guys. I went salmon fishing last year. We were getting bites and stuff, but I think the water was a little too warm. We got up there a little bit too late, and we were at a store and a guy comes out. And we're telling him about, he goes, how's it going? How's the fishing? We tell him what's on. He goes, follow me. And he took us to his private pond that he stocks. Now, it was awesome to get some fish. I mean, some of these fishes were huge, but I felt like I was cheating. And I felt like, this isn't fishing. This is like shooting fish in a barrel. It was kind of cool. You just say, yeah, take them in. We hooked them and we put most of them back. But just salt of the earth people, you're just opening up their property like that to complete strangers that you don't even know. I mean, my brother and I were walking from one part of a brook down to another, down a road, and this little old lady pulled over and said, do you need help? And the first thing I'm thinking of is, oh my God, you wouldn't see that in New York or Chicago or Los Angeles or any of these areas across the country that have laden with crime and all that, because there's a little old lady, and here I am, both of us were both over 6 feet, 200 and some odd pounds. And she's asking us if we needed help if we were stranded, we weren't, obviously, and just thought it was kind of really cool that just the quality of life and the way people think, specifically in all of Maine. And this was obviously in northern Maine. This is way up there, but just easygoing, happy people. There is definitely something to be said about living in nature and being outdoors, and getting into earth, right? My wife was telling me about this stuff she's doing about grounding, and I'm not gonna go off on a tangent, but it was pretty interesting how you can ground yourself. When I say grounding, like walking around in the grass barefooted or grabbing something that's stuck in the ground to become one with earth. There's just some things that I guess work for the human body by doing that. But guys, that's Maine. I have 19 videos or 18 videos prior to this. Explore some of them. If you want to know more, if you think this content is of interest to you guys, then subscribe to the channel. Tap that bell to be the first to be notified when I drop new content, which is on a weekly basis. And finally, guys, as I said, we get calls, texts, emails all the time from people looking to relocate here, looking to sell here, looking to sell their place and move to another place here, to downsize. I mean, we really specialize in I don't like to say we do it all, because our teams, we kind of do it all. But at the end of the day, my specialty is I really like working with veterans. Not that I won't work with you if you're not a veteran, but I really like working with veterans. I really like working with people that are looking to be relocated. I really like working with kind of my age group, Gen X's, or even millennials that are later on, kind of have an idea of what they're doing and what they want. And then obviously the baby boomers, a lot of them are starting to downsize. The kids are filling the nest and the downsize, and then just helping those types of people find their next home, probably their last home. A lot of them want to stay here in Maine. At least in the summer, there's not a better place to live, in my opinion, in the summertime than in Maine. Maine and New Hampshire, it's kind of the same climate, but Maine, it's just beautiful up here in the summertime. The falls are beautiful. The spring is my least favorite time of the year, and then winter, I like winter, but it's becoming a lot milder. So it's interesting. Winter's not what it used to be, in my opinion, and I know it's hard for some skiers and snowmobilers. I mean, you got to go further north. A friend of mine and I were just talking about we're going to have orange groves here in 10 years because it's so much warmer that we'll be able to grow oranges. I don't know if that'll be the case, but just, bantering how the weather's changing, whether that's climate change, whether that's global warming, whether that's just the natural cycle of things that happen around the planet. I don't know, but things are definitely warmer than they have been. Today it's going to be 54 degrees, and it's the first week in March, so kind of crazy. Anyways, guys, sorry to go off on a tangent. If you want to know more about this channel, then the information is below, and I will include my contact information on the last part of this video, so you can write it down and send me a line, drop me a text, send me an email. If you tell me what kind of other content you want, I'm beginning a lot of requests of content. I got some new ones coming up that I'm going to be doing. The next one is actually home buying process in Maine that I'm going to do next week. From start to end, I'm going to go through purchase and sale agreement and all the process you need to do to buy a house in Maine and how we help you do that. So, guys, I hope this information was informative and helpful to you. If you want to know more, then just subscribe. Help me know that you're interested in this by subscribing and liking this information so I can continue to put out more content. And if you want to know more about different things about Maine, then ask me that too. I'm not shy. I'll dive into anything as long as it makes sense. But until then, guys, I hope you have a safe, healthy, and fun week. And we'll talk to you next week. Scott Tebow, over and out. Bye-bye.